Okay, so it's been over 7 months since I've made a full dedicated video talking about One Piece, and with Egghead Island being the monstrosity of an absolute banger that it's been, I think we need to talk about what the F has been going on with One Piece's manga as of late, roughly the last 30 or so chapters since Egghead Island has begun, and in general, just what's been going down with one of the GOAT stories of all time, with what Gota has been crafting and creating with this manga, because, yeah, it's been mighty fierce. From everything going down of Jewelry Boney, the Straw Hats landing on Vegapunk's island, the freaking betrayal of Vegapunk Island, everything that's happened with Blackbeard invading Amazon Lily. There's been so much madness between this arc before, during, and, well, not after because it hasn't finished yet, but I think it's time to talk a little bit of that One Piece greatness. Let's do it, shall we?
Baby, I'ma never forget. Still moving on, baby, I'ma never regret. Still moving on, still moving on. This is for my day ones. This is for my day ones. Come on.
Okay, so it's kind of crazy because meeting Vegapunk, finally seeing him, has been in the works for how many freaking years? Literal decades. Well, not decades, probably about a decade and some change at the very least, or decade and a half. We've been waiting to see Vegapunk, from Frankie mentioning him way back in the day. Just so many different references of like, yo, when we're gonna see Vegapunk? When we're gonna see Vegapunk? And we finally got to see him in all his glory. And for the most part, I think he himself has lived up to the hype, considering the fact that he has been said to be this, you know, brainiac, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? He's pretty much one of the smartest, if not the smartest beings on the entire planet of One Piece at the very least. Like, yeah, him having this whole entire island and having clones of himself that kind of operate on their own, but to overall achieve the ultimate goal of, again, obtaining knowledge and ideas and crafting and all that stuff. It's pretty much, for the most part, yeah, Vegapunk succeeded at the very least in being what a lot of people wanted him to be, and that's a genius. Now, obviously, having him look like Albert Einstein is like, all right, you know, it's pretty much inspired by somebody that has said to have been a very intelligent person. But yeah, homie, he pretty much has lived beyond the expectations, in my opinion. So much so that, yeah, it really kicks off this arc, because I don't think if knowledge doesn't become the quest of Vegapunk, and ultimately him trying to find these answers that leads him to going into the whole, you know, void century, the hidden history, the things that got pretty much O'Hara snuffed out, we don't get everything that goes down. Well, a little bit to a certain degree, because obviously York made things go a little bit more than they needed to, but definitely I love the idea that Vegapunk's quest for knowledge is what ultimately leads to the destruction to a certain degree, and kind of ruins of everything that he's been crafting all this time, because yeah, the world government don't play. And again, another testament to, at the end of the day, you can say what you want, like, these are the pirates and these are the Marines, they're supposed to be the good guys, they're the bad guys, but One Piece has insisted on time and time again showing you who's the true villains of this whole thing. I mean, going back to setting this whole arc off to begin with Sabo and Lelouch, which we're gonna talk about that big reveal of what actually went down. But yeah, if that isn't an indication that they are not playing by the rules alongside everything else from the last 1,000 chapters, then I don't know what is. Because yeah, them sniping out an entire island to get one dude with a whole bunch of innocent people on the island on top of that, that might have been, I want to say, the most darkest and messed up thing we've seen the world government do up until this point. Granted, we don't know what went down in the Void Century stuff, but them sniping an entire freaking island like it was nothing, thanks to that, you know, I'm Sama dude, pretty much is the most messed up thing the One Piece world government has done, period, all series alone. So if that ain't a testament to just what we are in store for, what we've been in store for, and what we've been dealing with Egghead Island, I don't know what is, because it starts off with nuking freaking islands of innocent people from the world government, the quote-unquote good guys, right? Now, the arc, for the most part, started off, you know, par for the course. Straw Hats getting separated, seeing a whole bunch of wackiness, always on par for what Oda likes to do. Like, going back to, honestly, when they got to Vegapunk's, you know, Egghead Island and whatnot, it gave me a little bit of vibes of Punk Hazard. And granted, Punk Hazard, Vegapunk, you know, probably is the reason why, but definitely gave me vibes of that, of like, yo, this fantastical place, and things is just so freaking weird. And of course, once they get into his laboratory and they see all of the wacky inventions and all of the different Vegapunks, and of course the Seraphim, which we'll talk about, is definitely just very much so reminiscent to me of that. But also, I guess, it kind of feels in a weird way like the return of Water 7 at the same time, all in one, which I ain't gonna lie, that's not that bad of a combination. Think about it. Water 7 meets Punk Hazard, like, that's kind of a badass combo. And like I said, it hasn't only been Egghead Island. That's one of the things that makes this whole entire arc just so grandiose, and what Oda does very well, probably better than most of his manga counterparts or author counterparts, is the fact that he continuously shows you what's happening all around the world. And I guess because we're in the final saga of One Piece, Oda is not holding no punches of, no, you're gonna see stuff happening all around, you know, the invention, so to speak, or the inception of the Cross Guild. Honestly, you know, we'll go back and forth on a lot of things, but I personally feel like Cross Guild throughout this entire arc, the little pieces we get here and there of, again, the inception of it, how he's rocking with Crocodile and Mihawk, and how everybody's kind of looking at it as Buggy is the one in charge of things.
Shut your mouth!
It really feels like Oda could possibly pull a fast one, and at the very least, I don't know if it would be temporary. I don't know if we're gonna still have multiple time skips, maybe a mini time skip and then a massive time skip for the ending, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have a little mini time skip where Buggy is Pirate King for a period of time. It really feels like Oda is setting up that at a given point, all of what is leading with this whole Cross Guild situation, using the quote-unquote muscle of people like Crocodile and Mihawk, is going to allow for Buggy to kind of look like Goldie Roger. It honestly feels like he's going to troll himself into absolute greatness, because between, again, all of the promotional images, everything that they're saying is like, oh, Buggy is the captain of this, and they're following his lead, not to mention how he bamboozled everybody into being a warlord before the time skip even began. So that was another big, massive feat of Buggy's. But then, even in the latest chapters, I think, what, 1082, 1083, we're finding out now the ship is modeled after Buggy because of Buggy's people loving him so much, which I will say is one hell of a testament to, you know, you could be the most fierce, right? You could be the most horrible, just terrible person or whatnot, and have people follow you based on fear. But one of the things that has worked out in Buggy's favor, and all of this is demonstrating that if Buggy does somehow become Pirate King for a period of time, because let's keep it real, Luffy's going to be the final Pirate King of this whole bad boy, and let's not play games, but if he does become Pirate King for a period of time, it is really based off of the fact that people really love him. And mind you, it's not really genuine that, like, yo, he's just this great person or anything like that, but nevertheless, the fact that he's at the very least treated them decently, and at the very least shown them some sort of different life. I mean, they follow him for a reason, right? Regardless if it's that he's manipulated and tricked his way to this point, it shows that following somebody off of love and, you know, getting love and admiration opposed to fear is going to go a lot longer of a way. It's because of Buggy's people loving him so much and looking at him as such a great person that he was able to get Cross Guild to start off. He was able to get Cross Guild to be modeled, and him being the face of Cross Guild. He was able to get a ship that is modeled after him and not Crocodile and Mihawk. He is able to, you know, announce that he is going to get the One Piece and things like that. If everything is going after, basically, with Buggy being, you know, the head of this whole thing, Buggy very well could become the Pirate King for a period of time. And again, a lot of that is due to the fact that he is a quote-unquote benevolent captain, and they all look at him like of admiration, opposed to like people being scared of him or the world being scared of him. It's fascinating what trolling can do, and at the same time just not being a horrible person, because Buggy, while he's, you know, a troll and he has a nasty attitude with his people, at the very least he treats them decently, probably because he knows like a lot of them will take him out if they really found out he was a fraud. And like I said earlier, this whole arc has been going all over the place, because, fam, you ain't gonna tell me otherwise that every time Blackbeard has freaking appeared in the manga, it has been absolutely insane. Again, early on in things where we see Blackbeard at Amazon Lily, invading Amazon Lily and choking out Boa Hancock, I was like, no! Honestly, that's just a testament to, yet again, we're in the final saga and Oda ain't holding back no punches. The fact that he freaking kidnaps Kobe, that was humongous. And honestly, I thought for a period of time we was gonna have some big end game situation where the whole entire world government was gonna go after Blackbeard. But again, it's just another testament to the government are a bunch of pieces of crap. The fact that it's really only because Garp has a lot of love and admiration for Kobe and really wants to see him be great that we even get to a very quick rescue of Kobe arc, because otherwise it could have just been that they were gonna leave him for dead. Like, the world government is a piece of crap, and I feel like this arc really drives it home, from everything happening at Vegapunk's island, the fact that they just decided, yo, we just gonna send CP0 up in there. Like, we get it, we've been rocking with you a long time, but, you know, with York pulling some strings in the background and then doing some devious things, kidnapping some of the other CP members. But on top of all of it is like, yo, they send CP0 to basically blow shit up and take him, and it's like, wow, so y'all really don't want nobody to know about that void century. What was y'all doing in that void century? What horrendous deeds was carried out, and who was there? Like, yo, those Gordo Sig members, they owe the shit for a reason, fam. They probably was physically present in those days, and they still around, or at the very least their ancestors, grandfathers, some shit there. But it's a little bit strange, and again, this arc has just demonstrated that they're pieces of shit. Now, as I've mentioned several times, York being the traitor of Egghead Island. I'll be honest with you, Oda doesn't seem that, like, when it comes to doing these big traitorous reveals, it seems like he just falls short slightly in certain avenues. Oda's not perfect, nobody is, but when it comes to, like, you know, going back to even Kanjuro when he was the big traitor, like, nobody saw it coming, but it didn't really rock the world, so to speak. Like, whoa, he's the traitor. And then when it was York at the same time, a lot of people were like, it really didn't feel like there was many breadcrumbs of foreshadowing for that one either. I mean, I get it, it makes sense, and it kind of really pushed forth for the world government to go after Vegapunk because, okay, she's already ratting out a lot of the things that he's looking into, but then on top of that, some of our agents are going missing. Yeah, we need his head. So I feel like while we've gotten somewhat of explanations, for the most part, we definitely need a little bit more, I feel personally, on the whole York situation, because honestly, it's like a clone of him using his mind and stuff like that decided to betray everything. It felt wrong. It felt a little bit like Oda could have carried that part, that aspect of the story a little bit better. Maybe I'm misremembering some stuff, but for the most part, I wasn't fond of York being the traitor. There was a couple of other characters that it was pointing towards. It could be them, it could be them, and when it was York, I was like, I see it of like, hey, that's the least person you would expect, you know, the kind of goofball that eats a lot and all that stuff, but I'm still a little bit like, alright, and damn it, all that freaking knowledge that is getting destroyed because of CP0 and the world government, damn you! And let's talk about the Seraphim. Fam, that is just Oda master crafting away at the fact of, you know, because it was a big deal of, well, why the hell would the government just randomly decide, yo, we're gonna abolish the whole warlord system after, you know, giving just at the beginning of the time skip promotions to, you know, Buggy's a warlord now. A lot of these people are filling in seats of people that passed or are no longer a part of the positions, like Blackbeard going from warlord to Yonko and stuff like that. For that to be a massive shift, and granted, you can see that Fujitora was very much so excited. Initially, I thought it was just like, yo, Fujitora finally got through to the dumbasses of like, yo, we can't have pirates rocking on the good side, like we're supposed to be the good guys or whatever. But to find out that the reason for the most part why they abolished the warlord system is, yo, we got all of these Seraphim, fam, what the hell we need them for? We got these creatures that are clones of them directly under our control, which oddly enough, it feels like manga has lately been pushing a lot forth of clones and all of that type of scenario down to Boruto, One Piece, a few different series. So yeah, interesting, but nevertheless, it works so freaking well because again, if the government needed the warlord system because it was an extra piece of muscle to have at their arsenal, and at the same time not having to compete with the likes of people like, you know, Amazon Lily has a freaking hole with Bo Hancock, Mihawk, like you don't want to tangle with these dudes. So the fact that they abolished them was like, well, why would you do that? But then when you go to the idea of them creating clones using Lunarian DNA, basically buffing the living crap out of these, you know, Seraphim, the new pacifista, so to speak, it was absolute madness. And seeing the designs and seeing them as kids, it kind of is a throwback as well to when Oda first revealed little kid designs of some of the warlords. It's just honestly been a freaking treat and a half. See little Jinbei, little Mihawk, all of it just phenomenal, honestly. Great twist, and it worked very well for, again, how Oda set up the whole abolishing of the warlord system. And then, as I mentioned earlier, it feeling like Water 7 meets Punk Hazard, the reunion of Luffy and Zoro with Kaku and Lucci and Luffy kind of clashing for a little period of time, getting to see that epic Gear 5th, but also seeing the awakenings of their forms and whatnot. It was freaking fantastic, honestly. It just felt like such a throwback, and you only get moments like that. You only be able to feel this, wow, what a freaking rush from the past, because the series is like 1,000+ chapters, because we're revisiting characters from like the 200s while we're 1,000 deep, you know what I'm saying, 1,083 3 at the moment of the recording of this video at the very least. Like, we're over 1,000 chapters, and these are characters from like the 200s, so getting to revisit them yet again, it felt freaking great. I also really like, though, because I don't like to, you know, revisit them and then it's just like, oh, you know, we're still leaving. The fact that Luffy was kind of talking a little cocky, like, oh, well, if y'all betrayed us, because eventually, because of, you know, CP0 coming down on this whole Vegapunk Egghead Island situation due to the traitor with York, them working together, but Luffy still being confident and saying, well, if y'all betray us, I'll just kick your ass. Like, it's nothing. That's a testament to, yo, they had a little bit of a clash for a moment, but let's be very clear, Luffy has far surpassed the likes of Lucci, and there is no competition. And of course, I had no doubt in my mind that Zoro would take out Kaku. Let's be very clear here, people, okay? Like, I rock with those characters, and it was dope to see them working together again after all this time. Well, not again, because they didn't really work together before, but just in general, the reunion, the fact that Oda never really removed them completely from the story, having those cover pages for a long time of what happened with CP9 post the Water 7 and Enies Lobby's arc, and then kind of bringing them into the forefront again with the time skip, seeing them a part of CP0, and now having them on Egghead Island. And honestly, Oda just showed yet again that he knows how to bring some really awesome stuff from the past, which on a super side note, I just have to bring up again, I guess that's why he left characters like, you know, the end of Wano, the whole situation with Yamato staying behind, despite the fact that it felt like we had hundreds of chapters of building up that she was going to go with the Straw Hats post Wano. It was like, oh! But more than likely, Oda has a plan that he's going to bring them back, and it's going to be glorious. But yeah, I'm sorry, I just had to let that one out. And let's not forget something grandiose along the way as well, Shanks owning Kid. That was freaking crazy, and at the same time embarrassing on Kid's behalf. Let's keep it very clear, like, outside of him having a couple of pop shot moments and his awakening in unison with Law's awakening against Big Mom and stuff like that, Kid has just been humiliated in New World. It is very much so a testament to a lot of the members of the worst generation, if not damn near all of them, really weren't on that level that they thought they were when they entered into New World, because first Kid gets humiliated by Kaido, very beginnings of this thing, and then now he gets humiliated by Shanks with a 1-2 step. Homie pulled a Sierra 1-2 step and annihilated homie, and that was the end of Usta's Kid. And I'm just there like, wow, honestly, the worst generation, I'm starting to think, like, is it the worst generation, like the worst ass whippings you've seen in the series? Because come on, Oda, like, I wasn't expecting Kid to defeat Shanks by no means, but damn, Oda, damn, that was I can't think of the word, cataclysmic, boy done took an ass whipping. That's what we gonna label that as. And also just seeing Shanks's renewed investment in, you know, finding One Piece and everything that Shanks has been going after post Wano as well has been very fascinating, and him taking out Kid like he's butter shows that Shanks is not playing no more. So when we get to that whole Shanks and Luffy reunion, I don't know if it's gonna be all hunky-dory. Shanks has even said, like, yo, if I was on some lovey-dovey shit with him, what type of, you know, reunion would that be? So it's gonna be massively crazy. And in line with this whole thing of the worst generation taking the worst ass whippings, it also goes very fitting for Law and Blackbeard, because Law takes a massive L at the hands of Blackbeard and the Blackbeard Pirates, with Beppo having to use his Sulong form thanks to Chopper giving him a little rumbling ball, I believe, and they have to barely escape with their lives from Blackbeard. But yet again, it's just kind of like, damn, dog. I mean, it makes sense in a way that these are the big dogs, right? And it's not like Shanks is going to fall before having his big reunion with Luffy, or close to at the very least. And likewise with Blackbeard feeling, of course, like he's always been endgame, minus maybe depending on if everybody works together against I'm Sama and the world government. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like Oda putting them up against them, it just felt wrong, because they got humiliated despite having these massive feats in the battles against Kaido and Big Mom, which I've always felt like Kaido and Big Mom were the strongest of all of the damn freaking Yonko, especially Kaido. So to see that they, I don't even want to say fared well, because they kind of got tossed around as well, but damn, the worst generation taking these L's, no. And then even giving us some lore from the past. It's just, Oda, how you do this? Oda, how you do that? Oda, how you make them damn mangas? Oda, getting the flashback of how Aokiji initially met up with the Blackbeard Pirates and how he joined them, and how it was kind of like Teach once again having to back down a little bit, because all was hunky-dory until Blackbeard's crew was starting to, on the side, whisper like, yo, we could take that power, be lit. And Aokiji was like, let's make this very clear. I will fuck all of you guys' worlds up. Y'all don't want none of this. And Blackbeard's like, nah, just chill. We just want to work with you. Come on, dog. Relax. facts. Honestly, just you can't get better than everything that I've already mentioned, and we're not done yet. Because then having Garp heading out to clash with Aokiji after Aokiji proclaims, no, I'm the 10th captain of Blackbeard Pirates. We're rocking. We linked up, fam. It's like, yo, master and student, what is going on here? Although I'm gonna be very clear about it, I 100% don't believe that Aokiji is on some devious things. I do believe that he is on some either mole type of thing, to the point where he can't even tell, you know, Garp, like, I'm working like a double agent type of shit, something along those lines. I don't believe that Aokiji is a bad person. Aokiji has shown to be one of the good guys, even back in the day with the whole Robin situation. Like, he allowed them to escape when Aokiji could have finished off the Straw Hats right there. Like, One Piece's journey would have been over at that given moment. So for it to fast forward all the way to where we're at right now, even I know Film Z isn't technically canon, although it's the greatest One Piece movie thus far. But, yo, even when he met up with the Straw Hats right there, he was just cool and chilling, not really too much into it. So, getting this point of him clashing with Garp, I don't believe that he's on some, I'm gonna kill you, I'm really rocking with Blackbeard wholeheartedly. He's probably either A, assigned from the world government on pulling off this mission, or B, running with his own morale and his own mindset of, yeah, I'm gonna take them down myself. So, there's a possibility there, but I don't 100% believe, like, there's not even a shred of doubt in my mind that Aokiji is working against the Blackbeard Pirates and he's just waiting for the right time to strike. Although, to be honest with you, I feel like maybe he should have just strike right there and frozen Blackbeard in them, but probably he knew it was outnumbered. And overall, the One Piece manga as of late, with the Egghead Island arc, everything that has gone down and transpired has been absolutely phenomenal. This might be the best arc of New World, honestly, if you compare it to most of what we've had. I know a lot of people like to praise Zou for what it was, but it was a short-lived arc, and a lot of people have a disdain towards Wano's extension of, you know, being very long. For the 30 or so chapters we've had thus far of being an Egghead, everything that I mentioned so far has been progression, epicness, and all around, once again, a testament to that One Piece greatness. But let me know what you've been thinking about Egghead Island. If you want to see me make more One Piece videos, support this video, hit a like, drop a comment, share, all of that good stuff. Of course, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's get it going, baby. I just had so much fun doing this video right now, so there's that. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. One Piece greatness, baby. Let's go.
Yes, this is for my day ones, gotta be clear. Still moving on, baby, but I wish she was here. Still moving on, baby, but I gotta get there. Still moving on, baby, I'ma never forget. Still moving on, baby, I'ma never regret. Still moving on, still moving on. This is for my day ones. This is for my day ones.